Hi guys. So I'm back. I know I took a little 2 week little hiatus here, but I've been getting some things together behind the scenes for Tina Talks Credit and Dispute Champs. But I ran into something that I thought that you might want to know. So it is just simple disputing, but it may not be something that you think about. It is pretty strategic and it goes against a little bit what I see um, in most disputing over the last 5 years or so. So, sorry guys, my phone went off. Okay, so I'm gonna just jump on. I'm just gonna be a few minutes. I'm gonna show you exactly what I do to get credit card debt removed off of credit reports, guys. It's not a hard thing. Okay, you can do it because I can do it. And just let's think about it like this: the credit bureaus naturally only have the information that the creditors give to them, which are the data furnishers, right? So if you are constantly disputing that same credit card, negative debt with the credit bureaus and you're getting verified and just all the results that you don't want to get, it's better to me to just go straight to the horse's mouth and let's hit them with some real reality, some real facts, some real violations, and see what they do. Now, I know you hear me talk about doing complaints or dispute letters and affidavits of fact and truths to the compliance managers. But that's not all we do. We also do intent to sue and send them out to registered agents as well. And a lot of times I'll do that before I send out to the compliance manager, just to really depending on what strategy I'm using. It's really custom to whose ever credit report that I'm looking at. So let me just get down to it. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. And yes, I've been cooking. Guys, I'm cooking up a webinar. Yeah. So I'm excited about the webinar. I'm going to just really in this webinar that's coming up at the end of spring, I'm going to announce it. I'm going to start announcing it like a month before it actually is. It's going to go live so you can pre-order and things of that nature. And you know me, it's not going to be breaking the bank expensive or anything like that because it's really geared toward helping people. And so I'm giving out some stuff, guys. Like in this webinar, I'm not only going to give you like strategy that I've had from forever that really works. It's going to be in-depth stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's not going to be extremely easy stuff to do in the webinar, but it's going to be hardcore stuff that works. We're going to give out custom dispute letters. We're going to do a lot of stuff in the webinar. So stay tuned for that, guys, because it is coming. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Pull this up. All right. So, all right, let's get to this. Now, what this is, guys, let me get my little highlighter ready. All right, so this is legal documentation. And now I did not take the time to put a notary acknowledge on the bottom of this, just because I'm just trying to do something real quick to show you guys. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to put a notary acknowledgement on the bottom of this. And in fact, in the description, I'll just put a link in there with this particular intent to sue, and it's going to already have, I'll put like the notary acknowledgement in there for you just in case, just to help you out and make things easier for you. So I just want to show you how to go line upon line, precept upon precept when it comes to creating a real intent to sue and who to actually send it to. Okay, so now, of course, legal documentation, this looks Trump tight. You see this coming in the mail, you're like, oh my God, I'm getting sued. Right? And that's the idea. So now the registered agent that we're sending this to is for this particular company. The company that we are actually intending on suing here, of course, you guys know I love to use Capital One in my examples for some reason. So this is going to be Capital One's registered agent in the state of Florida, because Florida is our dummy state that we're using right now. So this is going to go to Capital One's registered agent. Now, and this is just honestly, for what I've been doing lately, guys, this is like a mid-grade level dispute, honestly, but it works. So again, defeated with the credit bureaus, not really getting anywhere. You're going to want to go ahead and do a civil action or an intent to pursue litigation and send it to the registered agent of the creditor. And I bet you guys are saying, okay, oh my God, like it is my account. So yeah, it is your account. I know it's your account. You know it's your account. But listen, let me cook here. We're not just talking about, we're not saying, oh, challenging the validity of it. We're not doing any of that. We're challenging straight facts here. So guys, so stay with me and let me get back into this. I don't know why I took it off. Okay, so all right, it's back now. So I'm just gonna go over the whole thing for you. To whom it may concern, this correspondence constitutes a formal and final notice of dispute pursuant of the Fair Credit Reporting Act law. Okay, and serves as documented notice of material inaccuracies. All right, you get this? Material inaccuracies, statutory violations, and reckless disregard for federal protected consumer rights. So guys, this is what we're going after them for. And we're going straight to the horse's mouth, okay? All right, so that's just, other verbiage. So in this dispute letter / intent to sue, I like to put examples in there because I know that on this end, this ain't no Oscar getting this. This is like a human being that's going to get this and open it. And so I like to give them a good visual of exactly what I'm talking about. Now, don't get me wrong. We're still going to have the correct verbiage and have it verbalized correctly in the actual intent to sue. But however, this is just something that I like to do. You can do it or not. It doesn't, it's up to you. So, all right. And it's good for video and teaching. So, all right. So Capital One account, you're going to want to put the name of the account and the account number, of course. And so this is just some facts that we're stating, because remember we said material inaccuracies, statute violation, and reckless disregard for federal. All right. So we're going to name this account as simultaneously reporting as closed. Okay, so the account is reporting as closed. That's a biggie here because the account is reporting as closed, there's certain things it's supposed to do and certain things that it's not supposed to do. Okay, so right now the account, and this is like I pulled this from a real credit report that we're actually disputing. So you're seeing like something that's actually real, all except for the actual account number. All right, so they're reporting a past due balance on a closed charged off account. That's the number one violation, right? And clearly, with the registered agent, once they send this over to Capital One's legal team, they can literally pull up the account and see exactly how they're reporting this. All right, so the next one, Metro 2 Field Code 17A, which is account status, and Field 17B, payment status, must be internally consistent. Okay? So that means that it has to be the same across the board as it relates to what you are reporting to the credit bureaus. A closed account cannot reflect the active delinquency. This is something that if you don't know, you need to know. And I repeat it, a closed account cannot reflect an accurate delinquency coding and ongoing past due progression. So it cannot say, oh, it's past due here on May the 12th, and then on April the 13th, report another one and it's a closed charge-off. So you really have to really dissect your actual credit reports to see exactly how they report. And you'll find that there are a whole lot more discrepancies than you may have thought that they were. Things that you can call them out on. Okay, so the next one that we have here is past due reporting after a charge off. This happens all the time. Now, Field 22 violation, and this is the Metro 2. Do you see we're using that as well as the FCRA? Now, the account reports a $429 past due while already charged off. Once charged off, reporting must not reflect active delinquency, progression, inconsistencies, and charge off status. This is a Metro 2 field code violation. We need them to know all this stuff, and we just going to be very specific as if they don't have a clue as to what Metro 2 and all that stuff is, because we want them to know that we know what we're talking about, and we want them to be able to look at the records that they have and clearly see that we have a lawsuit. All right, so high balance inconsistency across the bureaus. So you look at your high balance. So your high balance is a required field. So it matters. It can't be 0 with TransUnion and then 429 with Experian and then 680 with Equifax. It can't be. One bureau reflects a high balance of 0 while another reflects 429. This violates, and here is the Fair Credit Reporting Act law, and demonstrates failure to maintain maximum possible accuracy. Possible reagent. Ooh. So like I love that. Possible reagent. Okay. Everybody knows that we're reagent of debt. If we find that they have reaged this debt, we can sue them just for that alone and win and get it dismissed, and not dismissed, but and get a win and a deletion just for that. Okay. So last activity dates differ across the bureaus. That matters. Okay. It matters because again, we're dealing with possible reagent. Okay. Now, 11/17/2025 versus 7/1/2024 versus 7/12/2024. Those are 3 very different dates. One even a totally different year from the date of last activity. And how can there be activity on an account that was closed and charged off already, especially if it's past the date? These inconsistencies suggest improper updating of delinquency activity and possible violation of this Fair Credit Reporting Act law. So now, guys, that we have honed in on some very specific things that we really want to show the registered agent who's going to send us over to the legal team for them to process, we want them to know, hey, you are really violating some stuff here and we can sue you. So now we get into more of the, like, I guess like legal jargon or more of the verbiage of it. And I'm not going to go ahead and read it all to you, but like I said, I am going to put it all in a link so that you, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to do you a favor, because when I put links there, I usually put them in PDFs, and it's just by habit because I make everything into a PDF. I'm going to put it in Word form for those of you who are DIYing to make your life easier so you can edit more efficiently. Okay, so excuse me, I'm trying to still get over a cold, guys. This simultaneously reporting creates an impersonable and legally defective conflict under Metro 2 Field 17A account status. Okay, and so we're going to go on and on. This is just basically more in-depth elaboration on the example that we're showing them what they're doing. And so in your intent to sue, you're always going to want to put your legal basis. So this is just like stating your strong legal reasons, because you know this is all legal, because you can write them all day and tell them everything that they're reporting wrong. Unless they're in violation of some law, they're not going to pay attention to you. Who cares, you know? So we want to put our legal basis here. And these are the legal basis as to which why we can sue you and get some money from you in a deletion. Okay? So just take it off the credit report, right? Okay, so demand for documentation and validation. Within 30 days of receipt of this notice, you are required to provide a complete documentation method of verification. And this is not the credit bureaus that we're sending this to, guys. We're sending this directly to the actual creditor now. So they're going to send us a bunch of stuff. But what usually happens on these accounts that are closed and charged off, most of the time they can't go back and find as in-depth of a file system that they would need to properly complete the documentation of method of verification. So they just delete it off the credit report, because that's what we're going to ask. Okay, and so down here, of course, we're to tell them notice of willful noncompliance. That's a law as well, too, that we can say, okay, we suspect you of this. This was what this looks like, you know, and give them our strong reasons. So of course we're informing them of the damages that we could get and things of that nature. And we're kind of just ending things out. It doesn't have to be really long and, just over verbagey, if that's a word. It just has to be straight to the point, and you have to have your strong reasons in there, which are your laws and the things of that nature. Like I said, guys, I am going to put a notary acknowledgement on this, and I will put it in the description. And I really hope that this really helps you guys. So if you are struggling with charged off accounts, credit card debt, and things like that, and you can't get it removed, try this. This works really good for us. I use this all the time, and sometimes, honestly, guys, I get a little bit confused because I have so many different strategies that I use for stuff. And don't get me wrong, I have files upon files, in order of what I do and all that thing. But it's just like now, after 20 years, I have so much to choose from. It's crazy. It's like, and how do you put all of it in Dispute Champs Academy? Like it's going to take time to keep building out, Dispute Champs Academy, so that I can just really whip out just everything that I've learned through my experiences in all these years of doing credit disputing. So, guys, if you are interested in getting further educated on self-disputing, check us out, guys, at disputechamps.org. We're there. We're still building on it. Every couple of months, we're adding more and more to it. So, and also you actually can create real live dispute letters and affidavits there on disputechamps.com's website as well. And also I have lots of tools and gadgets to help you in your disputing process while you're doing research on repossessions, foreclosures, you name it. If you need Metro 2 codes, if you need to use them in your dispute process, but you don't quite know what Metro 2 codes to use, I have a widget that is in Dispute Champs that you can utilize to just find what Metro 2 code that you're going to use to dispute whatever you're disputing. So it's just really cool. And like I said, we're constantly building it out. I love my Dispute Champs. Also, if you are in need of a mentorship or a quick questions with Tina, check us out in the description. Go ahead and schedule a consultation. If you are looking for some credit repair and you don't want to do it yourself, call us, text us. We're here for it. And so, yeah, guys, we will talk soon. I'm going to try to do at least like 3 long form teaching and informational videos for the weeks to come. I'm not going to drop one every day. That's just too much. It really burnt me out. So guys, leave in the comments, guys, if you want me to elaborate even further on this and take it a step further and give you another strategy to add on to this, because we can keep elaborating and keep growing on it and keep growing on it as well too. So I love to do that because y'all know I love to teach. I will talk to you guys later this week. And yes, we are going to do a prayer, and just to the people, I don't know if some people may not like, prayer and mixing it with credit, but this is just where God is leading me. So I'm going to be doing more prayers because it's needed. I'm a Christian. I listen to people call me every day with issues with finances and credit and things like that. Prayer is needed. And we pray on the phone a lot with our clients, potential clients, inquiries, mentorees, anything. Tell me you got a problem. I'm like, let's pray. So prayers are just literally, they've always been kind of behind the scenes, a part of Credit Approval Solutions, Tina Talks Credit. But I'm just doing it out loud now, and it's great, and God is blessing, and God is blessing his people through it. So guys, I will talk to you guys soon. Type in the comments if you want me to expand on this short teaching that I just did, and I'll give you some more gems. Talk soon. Bye.